Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Monday morning. It is Wake Up with Reveille. We have a few things that we're going to talk about today. Hello. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
afternoon.
Afternoon.
It's going to be a long week for me, so my days and nights are going to be screwed up this week.
Oh, great. Still in class?
Yeah, I'm starting a whole new set of classes. So I finished my NLP, timeline therapy, and positive psychology. Now I'm getting my master practitioner certifications.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
This way I can train somebody and they'll be certified. But there's some stuff that's been going on this weekend, and I thought we could talk a little bit about it and a couple of things I need to vent about. So I am a supporter of Trump. I have no problem admitting that. My front yard shows it. But the comments Trump made this weekend really pissed me off. And I am demanding an apology. Because
what did he do?
He was basically calling Harris and Waltz, which they're special, but he was calling them mentally disabled. And he was using it in a term that was an insult. And it's been my life's work, my life's mission to take those words and stop using them as a disability and using them as an empowerment. No, we need to stop using words that are designed to label people as an insult. We couldn't just call them dumb, ignorant, whatever. He had to go and hit below the belt. In my eyes, below the belt.
Yeah, there's no reason to do that.
You know, these individuals with this label have to live this world of being downgraded and talked to like they're less than because they have that label. And having politicians and people of higher elevation using them as a derogatory term undermines.
True.
That's just my viewpoint on it. He's a master of language, and he really is. He could have found any better words to use than that.
Could have, but any politician, doesn't stop to think. They engage their mouth before their brain, so...
And that's the problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn how not to do that.
I'm getting better. I struggle with that one.
Yeah. Well, we're military. I mean,
Words are our friends in the military. We get good at the backhanded compliments. We can insult you 5 ways till Sunday, and you come walking away smiling.
Yeah. Or at least say thank you.
Mm-hmm. The problem is my son's getting just as good at doing that.
I believe that. Yeah, but you know what to look for.
Yeah. Problem is that it still doesn't surprise me, or it surprises me when stuff comes out of his mouth some days. It's like, so he's getting all these testings done from IQ to different things to figure out where to place him in school. He gets it done every couple of years. And so the biggest problem is that at 8, he's already figured out the system. So he knows that if he fails the test, barely cooperates, that they can't put him in hard classes, so that he gets all his work done by the end of the day, so that he can study what he wants to learn at home, off school.
Yeah.
He's 8 and figured it out, and he's actively in this mission to succeed in that.
Yeah, whenever I was growing up, I always had problems with math, and Dad would say, "Well, do that first, and then you can enjoy the easy ones, like history." So, still not good at math, but
yeah, he's good at school. It's just he's like, if I sit and coast through it, it doesn't matter. Because then I can learn what I want to learn. Little snot. This is stuff
just
you're
long
not
as he doesn't
supposed
turn
to...
into a Frank Burns.
Oh, God, no. I can't deal with that. I run out of patience now. If there's a loophole in the system, he will find it.
Oh, yeah. Some people are good at doing that.
And that's part of the problem. Is that there's he's got master plans. It's really kind of drives me nuts. You know, that's like, I was searching, the web today looking for information on Baghdad. There isn't crap on it. So, for those who don't know, the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad is under attack. And our prayers go out to the officials stationed there and all of the soldiers who are stationed out in that area. And we pray that it doesn't end up being another Benghazi. Because if we remember back, who was in charge during the Benghazi?
Yeah. And who was Secretary of State?
Yep. But the problem I have is we have a vice president who doesn't know that we have troops in combat zones.
I know. I was just getting ready to say that. I was going to say, I wonder if they're going to claim that we don't have any of our military in harm's way.
Well, you do know they declassified South Korea as a combat zone, right? Families can now move with the soldiers to South Korea.
Huh.
I just found that one out.
Why would they want that?
paid as much. Remember, you get deployed to a combat zone, that's hazard pay.
Yeah.
You declassify an area as a combat zone, you don't get hazard pay.
Yeah. Anything to cut the military, cut the middle class. There is no middle class anymore.
No. You're either rich or you're poor.
Yep. October 1st, I think I don't know if the government's going to shut down or not.
I thought they signed a deal.
Who signed the deal?
They've done a 12-week funding extension.
Oh, yippee.
Which brings us until after the election. So right before Christmas. Let's screw everybody at Christmas.
Again. Democrats did that the last time. I don't know. I'd get some money out of the bank just in case.
But what happens to people who don't have money in the bank, that are living paycheck to paycheck, waiting for their veterans, for instance, that are waiting for their paychecks?
I know.
At least, when we had this threat under the Trump administration, they passed a partisan little loophole where, first responders and military got paid irregardless.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if they're going to do that again.
Because I was freaking out over that one shutdown.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had diapers I had to buy. And you cannot not buy diapers.
Nope. Or use tea towels.
I got to clean my whole house and then get the pool cleaned out and get ready for winter.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully winter comes this year.
Now, do you drain it or?
We drain it out. No, we drain it out completely first, and then we scrub it all out and put in a stronger chlorine mixture. And then we leave about a foot of water in the bottom of it for weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. And then do you cover it?
Yeah.
I'll bet you that's a strong smell whenever you first uncover it.
We wait till it's not too bad with the chlorine in there. It's like right now, because of the weather being so up and down, it smells like a lake.
Some lakes don't smell too bad.
This smells like a bad lake.
Yeah. Okay.
The water's green and slimy.
Ew, yeah. Not good.
So one of the things that I've been working on with my classes and with some specialists is, how we're always taught to be at that constant state of awareness. So we know what's going on around us all the time. It's like the saying that you got eyes in the back of your head. And the biggest misconception with a lot of civilians is just turn it off. Get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you turn it off and get rid of it, that creates more anxiety because it's like a part of you's missing.
Yeah.
So what we're working on, and I'm testing it right now on myself, is creating a button, like using an anchor and creating like a button on your hand or your arm where you can turn it down when you don't need it and turn it up when you need it. Conscious mind, it's actually kind of cool.
Well, we always need it.
True, but it becomes a bad thing when you need it and it ends up being a trigger. You know, having people walk behind you and you freak out. I mean, my husband gets hit quite a few times because he ends up coming around a corner or something and scaring the crap out of me. And my arm goes out.
Yeah,
he
that's
gets
a good
hit.
way to get knocked down. Or knocked out.
Yeah, well, mine arm just goes straight out, so it hits him right in the solar plexus.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've warned him, and after 10 years, he hasn't figured it out. It ain't my problem.
Right. I know. I hear you.
Because he grew up with his dad, which is a Vietnam veteran, that was worse than I was.
Yeah.
So he should have figured it out 20 years ago, 30 years ago. He's just got a very slow learning curve.
Yeah. Either that or else he's a glutton for punishment.
Oh, yeah, always. He's a boy. He's a male.
Now be careful what you say.
How many times have you done something just to mess with someone just for the fact that it's fun? And you can.
A lot.
There you go. I do it too.
I lost track.
There you go. I do it too. So I use the disclaimer that, you know, I went from a big city to a military base to the middle of nowhere, children of the cornland, Minnesota. I need entertainment. And since it's your fault that I'm living here, you're my form of entertainment.
Yeah, don't tell me something irritates you because I would just keep on doing it.
Yeah, we don't talk about
my
those
daughter
things.
does the same thing to me.
Kids do. They've got that uncanny sense.
Yeah.
They're very good at reading between the lines and understanding. And the sad part is some of them tend to forget that as they get older.
Sure.
Well, that's like the going trend is the kids graduating from college now, with the millennials or whatever you want to call them. They're getting fired as fast as they're getting hired.
Yeah. They want the high-paying jobs, but they don't want any experience to go with it.
It's not even the experience. It's they don't show up to work on time. They don't dress professional. And it's like literally like they memorize the course. So they can't take what they've learned and use it in real world examples and modify what they've learned to actually solve a problem. It's like they have to be told step by step. If it doesn't follow the exact way you're taught how to use it, you can't use it. And they do the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. They need mental health time. They need me time. They need, And your time to come in or time to show up to a meeting is a suggested time. It's not a actual clock. We don't live by the clock. Living by the clock is a white privilege. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, huh? Thought that was a respect thing.
Had to get some coffee. Wake up a bit. I went to Gettysburg on Saturday night.
So were you just visiting Gettysburg, or were you actually doing something with Gettysburg?
What do you mean? Saturday or anytime?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, sorry.
There you go.
What was the question?
Were you doing something with Gettysburg, or?
Oh, on Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a special program. Only a few people were invited to. It was called An Evening with the Painting, the Gettysburg Cyclorama. And they went over the history of the cyclorama, the painting, who painted it, the team, how they signed it, each member, and some of the different things that weren't necessarily correct at the time of the battle, but he painted them in, and it was really informative. I enjoyed it. I'll add that to my repertoire whenever I do tours.
That's cool. So now you actually offer tours?
Paid license tour guide, but I talk about what I want to talk about. Not tactics. Well, sometimes tactics, but I delve into the because I try to get into the personal lives of both sides of the generals and men who actually fought there. Because whenever, as a military person, you mentioned Vietnam, you mentioned Korea, World War II, something like that. You never really get into the personal lives of the people who actually jumped, unless you're related to them. Okay, and I try to delve into so and so after the battle. Like a lot of people don't know, John Buford, who was a brigade commander, he was in charge of 2,500 cavalrymen, and he's the one that actually met the enemy on the first day and slowed them up so that they could retreat back through through the town. He slowed him up until John Reynolds got there. But people say, well, Buford probably died at Gettysburg. Well, he didn't. Contacted typhoid after one of the battles. I forget which battle it was, but he was taken to a hospital in Washington where he passed away from typhoid. There, and what is Buford's pension was only $1 a month. Back then, $1 went really far. And were they married? Different things like that. How did the wives take the news that they passed, or they came home all shot up, sort of like the Vietnam vet.
Mhm. A lot of times we don't really know much about the soldiers.
Yeah.
We don't know what they did before, or what they were like before they became a soldier.
Yeah.
What I always find funny, though?
What?
Is that you could be the complete, total jackass prior. But because you've done something great, and a lot of times you're doing something great just means you're standing in the right place at the right time. We forget about how you are as a person and automatically make you the greatest person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa. You could have been the greatest person in the world, done everything to help everybody else out, but because you made one mistake, you're all of a sudden a bad person.
Yeah, sort of like the old adage, you get 10,000 10,000 congrats, but you get one oh shit and that it's all gone.
Yeah.
So, but what a lot of people tend to forget is that during the war between the states, the Great Civil War, everybody that was fighting, North and South, were either friends or related to each other.
That's true.
But we look on it as the enemy. That Gettysburg was a battle of contradictions, because there was a lot of contradictions, but the main one was whenever the Confederates came up through the Shenandoah Valley and crossed over the Potomac and came up through Greencastle and Hagerstown, Greencastle, and Chambersburg, the Army of the Potomac was still around Washington. So during the Battle of Gettysburg, Confederates were coming from the west and the north, and the Army of the Potomac coming from the south.
No, there's a really cool documentary. I think it was on Apple or it was on the History Channel. I don't remember which one it was. But it was about Abraham Lincoln, and it kind of broke it down how Abraham Lincoln, when he wasn't exactly planning to completely end slavery, it was about, making sure that states coming into the Union couldn't get slaves. And how he was trying to avoid a civil war.
Don't tell you that.
No. You have the good guy and you have the bad guy. And who's the good guy and the bad guy is based on who wrote the story. Or what agenda fits for that time.
Yeah, I got some stories about what Lee told his commanders whenever they came into Chambersburg. He said, "Do not harass the townsfolk. If I see anyone harassing a townsperson, I'm going to shoot him myself." Grant and Longstreet. Do you know they were related? Yep. Whenever they were going to West Point, Longstreet introduced Grant to his future wife, which was Street's cousin. So, it's crazy. It's sort of like now.
Yeah. Really, people really don't know who they're related to.
No. And I don't really go along, or I don't really put a whole lot of faith in 23andMe or these so-called genealogy DNA tests.
Well, you know what? I don't get with those DNA testing. Okay, so you get it done, like Ancestry. You get your markers, tell you where you're from, and then all of a sudden, you get an update saying, well, they've clarified and they've added on. And so what you have all of a sudden changes. It's like, huh?
I'm Okinawan.
Oh. I'm German and Irish. And my grandma paid back in the day, like the 70s, a priest who actually researched our genealogy. And so we have parchment scrolls that are rolled up of all of the family names and the history. And this is back before computers, of where we came from. But like, for me, like my family didn't come to the U.S. till like 1907.
Well, at least they didn't come over on the Titanic in 1910.
We were too poor for the Titanic.
Well, what got me was whenever I had my DNA testing, they said I was related to Prince of France.
Huh?
That shocked me.
Are you French?
No, I'm Okinawan.
Shoot, that's what I thought. I'm like, wait a minute here. You're not even like European, because a lot of like the rulers of like England and stuff aren't exactly English. A lot of them are German. But you're not even part of that whole culture.
Right. So you tell me. I have no idea. But that they also said a good part of me was Neanderthal. So my wife goes around and says, "Yeah, you big Neanderthal."
Yeah. So like they completely like skipped like a whole century or 2 or 3 or 5 of your DNA.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they went from France to all of a sudden caveman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so easy even a caveman could do it.
You never know.
Hey, this is true.
So we were a documentary we were watching from a geneticist about that, and about the Neanderthal, and then the other one. It was kind of interesting. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not that smart.
That's the only two I know.
I'll have to send you the link because it was kind of interesting, but it was beyond. But they were tracing some of the ancient societies back, like Greece and things like that. But I'm talking about like the Mongols and the Mongolians and the ancient civilization that disappeared. I don't know. I don't remember.
Babylonians, Mesopotamia.
It was something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was only half listening.
What were you doing the other times? Studying?
Trying to go to sleep. No, I was trying to go to sleep.
Trying to shut the brain down, huh?
Yeah, that's why normally, like, I'll let him come to bed and watch something that he wants to watch. Mm-hmm. And that's like Lord of the Rings or Star Trek or something boring. So then I just fall asleep. But he decided he was going to watch documentaries that he thought I'd be interested in. So I was only half listening.
Nothing wrong with Lord of the Rings and Star Trek.
Of course not. But you can only watch them so many times in a row.
No. Whenever Star Wars came out, I went to the movies 14 times.
You and him and the kids all get along just fine.
Well, you know what book this is the only book I've read from cover to cover whenever I started it was because all my other books I just leaf through and find something that pertains to what I'm thinking about or getting ready to write my journal concerning. But the only book that I actually read cover to cover from start to finish was Jaws. And you know why I did that or how I did that? I got the album Jaws and I was playing the music as I was reading the book.
That my son's warning. So he will sing or hum or the theme song of Jaws when he gets frustrated. That's his warning.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
No.
Dun, dun, dun. I like that.
Yeah, it's his warning sign to just leave him the heck alone. Otherwise, he's going to attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what's where do you see America going now?
Depends on who gets in. But, if Harrison get in, then it's going to be down the toilet.
It's going to be a shit show. Right?
And if Trump gets in, we're going to spend 4 years accomplishing absolutely nothing, undoing the damage that's already been done. And we're hoping that the next president gets in and actually starts moving us forward. Because really, when you look at it, the last 8 years, well, longer than that, but the last at least 8 years plus, we have not actually done or accomplished anything. We just keep going in circles.
What circles?
Well, basically, this president passes all these regulations, laws, and, crap, and then the next president comes in and spends all the time undoing it. And then we go back. We keep doing the circles. They do shit, they undo it. We do shit, they undo it. And it's just back and forth, back and forth. We don't move forward. We don't change anything. We don't fix anything. It's all about what fear can we instill on our population? What isolation can we do to make sure our populations do not talk and work together so that we can basically create a whole country of unrest?
Well, they've done a good job of that.
Mm-hmm. And really, we've been under that terror world of fear since 9/11. 9/11 happened, and then for how many years afterwards, it was the color of the day. Something somewhere in the world is going to happen. We don't know when, we don't know where, but something somewhere is going to happen. No shit, it happens every day. But now we have to put a label on it and add a color. People used to tune in to the news just for that simple fact of what's going to happen today. What color are we today? And you built your life around what color we were. Then it was COVID. And you're going to die from a cold flu virus because, that's what the world tells you. And then came the alphabet community. And it was all about inclusion and about, forcing beliefs onto people instead of just living your life your way. Just be you. Care what you do. I just don't need it publicized all over TV. The weirder you are, the more outrageous you are, and the less you wear in public, the better, apparently.
Apparently. So,
So what Looney Tune thing is going to happen now? And then it was defund the police. In the process of all that, it was defund the police. And then it was, the race wars and all, forgetting about our history. And we all of a sudden made George Floyd a hero. Okay, what they did to him was not exactly right. But we tend to forget he wasn't exactly an innocent victim in the whole deal. It wasn't like he was a father of two that was in his car, pulled out of his car and beaten to death. He was pawning counterfeit dollars. He was on drugs. He was not a good man. But we use all those things to create more fear. More fear creates isolation. More isolation means more fighting and arguing and civil unrest. Have we not learned anything from the world and how the world operates?
Apparently not.
And now
America's IQ gone down.
Oh, it's beyond gone down. A buddy of mine, she's from Korea, and she lives there with her family. And she goes, I don't want to insult you by telling you this, but this is how we operate. If our kids are students here but don't make the top of the class, we send them to America because they will be the top of the class. And then we bring them back home. They go to college. And they can get into those to be the top of their college because they've ranked high in the United States at their school or their national level rankings. We are a joke among the world.
Yeah.
If you can't succeed in your country because you just aren't quite smart enough, come here because you're a flipping genius.
Yeah, that's right. I understand.
It's like the state of Minnesota. They're slowly integrating it, but this is why my kids don't go to regular public school, is they're integrating ethics class, heritage and ethic, not ethics, ethnical classes. It's a separate class to learn about different heritages, which I thought you always learned in social studies.
Not anymore. But I just got a note from my wife saying, got to wind it up. So.
Right, almost out of time anyway. You're being paged.
Yeah. I'm being requested.
Hey, it could be worse.
Ain't that the truth? So, all right. Well, you have a great day today.
You too.
Yeah, I'm going to try and stay dry. It's still raining.
You stay dry and enjoy the weather before it snows.
Okay.
Have a good day. Have a good night. We'll see you back here next Monday. Bye for now.
Sounds like a plan. See ya.
See ya.